Only one level left in construction. Only one level left. Level 6. We need level 6 for the magic items I'm planning to forge. 4,000 points. Yeah, high settings are really high. We'll still have to wait a lot. Enchantment. Some basic spells for emergencies, but we don't really have anything yet. All my other spells have to wait until... Well, yeah. Of course, in the middle of a war, I've decided to add some extra spells before going back for the last push to level 6 construction. Raise that is nice, to get some undeads. Of course, this spell has the major drawback of if there aren't enough dead on the battlefield, then it won't work. Hordes of skeletons, those are great. You get 6 every time you cast it, and if your mage is better than Death 2, then you get even some extra skeletons. And it works everything, since skeletons are everywhere thanks to us waging war forever here in this Dominion's 4 world. A growth of fertility grants us some nature, and yeah, that's funny. We smashed that army, but some survivors went back and somehow overwhelmed our patrolling forces. Annoying, but that force is too weak to do anything right now. And some of our Raven Guards finally conquered something. Let's take a look. Zuerst the Mountains of Manure. Our units attack. Ravenlords, do your thing. My Ravenlords and the blob of units and cavalry, if those reaches us, that would hurt. But they fly and can stop the charge, which prevents a lot of ugly extra damage to hit us, so we can slaughter them at our leisure. Of course, this other unit then rushes in and hurts us, and we lose some units, but in the meantime, this other squadron slaughters the rear, and if they can get the commander on a horse to the right, and the commander is gone and we have won. Now we basically only have to prevent ourselves from routing. Some units die on every side, but the battle is over. Yes, thank you. I noticed they are routed. But since we had units on both sides, not many survivors walk out of this. Next battle. Another squadron. And we destroyed another small army, losing 2 of our mammoths. And another enemy temple is destroyed. Good, good, good. Jomon is now under siege. And another small army marches over us in Osensa. Then another enemy temple destroyed. Good. Even though we lost a lot of shit. Looks a lot worse than it is, since we have a lot of storm generals in that army. Far more than we actually need. I guess some earlier battles did some attrition. And another battle where we destroyed a force besieging us. Well, let's take a look at Smakia. We attack this huge blob of units, and I have no idea what Jomon's player was planning with this formation, as they are not archers, have no capability of long range attacks. I guess his idea was to spread his units out so my mammoths can't trample all of them. Too bad then that the AI destroyed his little plan by just dumping a lot of independent units right in the middle. And now our elephants stomp through them while our other units set themselves up behind them. And if those units root, then they are basically massacred because they can't run away. And it looks like his plan would have failed since some of my mammoths have targeted his moving stack in the south and decided to just stomp north to south instead west to east. And now it looks like my elephants have panicked. Yeah, it was going to happen sometime, I guess. And of course, some of my units obliged the disaster by moving out of position right in front of the mammoths. Oh, this is so stupid. All those units were supposed to stay where they are, but because that dumb little scrat AI targeted something too far to the north of them, they decided to move north themselves and got stomped. Luckily, the enemy army is also running away, and we still have some squadrons fighting, so we win by default, even though this battle wasn't really pretty. Yeah, and then we get some arrows from our own units, and this last Shambler dies, and the battle is over. Well, we won. Barely. A series of unfortunate events redirects trade, and we lose some income permanently. Well, that's shit. Yeah, we have some siege news here. We are sieging lots of dudes here and there, and lots of dudes are besieging us. There's now another army in the middle of our armies. I have to deal with this, I guess. Now I'm thinking of, should I move another army here to throw those morons out, or should I move my army back? Oh, why? Why not? At least they're done then. Another smaller squadron moves to the west instead, and I'm upgrading the province defense to its bare minimum to prevent small scale attacks, because it's always bad to lose an entire province to some random scout. Now let's try to beat up those stupid cave dwellers. Well, no, let's sneak around. Defense upgrading. Horse tribe cavalry. Light lance for some extra damage if they can do a charge, and a short bow so they can do archery. Or basically a jack of all trades unit. Light cavalry like that would be good for raiding, as long as there aren't any swamps or for forests or anything in a way which would slow them down. Flying units are still better, and heavy cavalry is still better at killing enemy units. On the other hand, heavy cavalry tends to be also far too expensive for its uses, as long as you don't have pony men, elves riding on something, because those troops normally have high defense and some kind of glamour, which makes it incredibly hard to hit them, and they tend to have some magic weapons to hurt even the hardiest of hardiest enemies. So, and in most cases you can even bless them to make them even more powerful. But otherwise, normal cavalry units are kind of, well, if you have some resources and money left over, and you have absolutely no idea what you could recruit instead. I guess they are still better than, I don't know, nothing. I don't know. If I really had to choose, I would probably try to save up money for the fortress upgrades or something. Let's say they are worse units, yes. But they're not really that good overall. Of course the AI doesn't know anything about this and has no qualms of just recruiting a bunch of them because they're cheaper than normal cavalry. Really, light cavalry is like a knockoff of real cavalry, and well, real cavalry is at least semi-useful, sometimes light cavalry is less so. Well, and some of them are even undisciplined, which means you can't even make any use of their weird light lance short bow gimmick, because they will do whatever they want. And most of the time it's pretending to be an archer instead of charging. Even if you put them in 2 different squadrons, they will probably hang back like a huge blob of idiots and shoot their arrows empty before charging. Really, they're just kind of there, I guess, because someone has to be the barbarian on horseback or something. Well, the units I have rented minutes now over, and you've seen before, are at least not that bad. I think at this point I've already forgotten if they're undisciplined or not. Now, who cares? They're not really relevant. So, more units are moving across to finally push the Jomon menace back into the south where it belongs. Yeah, and then I have this army standing here. The citadel is still under siege. Reinforcements arriving, that's not good. Now I'm thinking of snipping through this stupid supply line to the south, so my fortress can be a bit relieved. More recruitment. We have to recruit more units, more units, more units, more units to deal with this shit. And I'm not really sure why I'm still recruiting units in this fortress here. I mean, I'm also recruiting those astral mages here, so it's not really like I can easily move those units as soon as my commanders are full, like here. I should better stop recruiting new ones. Callum, yes, we have still some storm generals here with empty spots for more units. Every storm general can have 80 normal sized units, which means, well, as you can see here, there are still a lot of empty spaces, a lot of potential armies I can send into the south before I have to send in some new storm generals. And yeah, those numbers you saw, they're only showing you what? Well, normal sized units. So if there's something like this general can have 80 units, then that means 80 human sized ones, or 40 mammoths for example. If I had only mammoths, then I would be in trouble soon. Of course, now that I'm thinking about it, I should test this sometimes. Here's the thing: if you deal with water breathing and sending units underwater, then it's exactly like I just told you. If a unit says you can bring 40 dudes, then it means 40 normal sized ones, or 20 giants, or 10 really huge giants. But how do I think about it? Yeah, I think I talked a lot of bullshit right now. With normal recruitment, it's like this: 80 units, it's 80 units, regardless of size. I could put 80 mammoths in there, 80 dudes with spears, or 80 little spiders. It's all the same. Only underwater there's suddenly size. That's one of those little details you can always be wrong about, I guess. Let's recap. If a general tells you he can have 80 units under his command, then it's completely irrelevant if those units are 80 little ants or 80 giants, monster giants. It's always 80. Strange, but there it is. In underwater, size matters. If you want to send units underwater under the command of commanders with the water breathing ability or with magic items who grant this shit, then suddenly 40 units means only 40 normal sized. Or 20 large ones, 10 very large ones, and so on, or 80 very small ones. Yeah, I know, it can be a bit confusing. Another confusing thing, here in the overview of your armies, it's not telling you that the unit number is actually only the main units someone can deal with. If for example, some good death mage has a lot of death paths, then it will still display something like 0 or 10 because he's a bad leader of humans. But if you actually click on it, it'll show you suddenly that he can command 50 demons or 150 undead, and normally you wouldn't even know without looking into it. It's kind of weird, really. But it's nice to keep this into account. As long as if you want to command a lot of undead, as long as you have death mages, you're good to go. Especially since most undead are mindless and don't actually care for losing morale thanks to someone being a shitty leader. And this turn is over. Well, see you next time. I'm out here.